Monterey Car Week starts tomorrow, and I am so excited because it's my favorite week of the year. Instead of me telling you exactly what Monterey Car Week is, how about I show you footage from last year? Essentially, however, it's a week of car shows from Wednesday to Sunday in Monterey, California. Starting with the Jet Center Party Wednesday night, then we move on to Legends of the Autobahn on Thursday. On Friday, we've got Quail. Saturday, we've got Exotics on Broadway. And Sunday, we've got Pebble Beach. Oh yeah, and there's about 50 other shows. That's just some of the highlights. Good morning, guys. It is finally time for the best car show in the world, the Quail. One of the main events and reveals at Quail today is from Lamborghini, an all-electric crossover SUV that I can't wait to see. Apparently it's a concept car, but it's foreshadowing what's to come in 2028 or 2029. The Urus Performante over here, then we've got the Huracan Storado, and then under the wraps here is the new car they're about to reveal. I believe last year or the year before when they were unveiling a car, they had a sheet that just blew off the car. So they've put 2 layers of protection on this one so that doesn't happen again. And then we've got the new Revuelto, the replacement to the Aventador. And look at that, 2 of the greats from Koenigsegg, the Jesko in its beautiful attack form, and then the Gemera. This is such a cool car. Imagine having a family 4-seater hypercar, and they just dropped the bomb that they're coming out with a V8 version of this with even more horsepower. In addition to the tiny giant 3-cylinder, they're making a 5-liter V8 version with 2,300 horsepower. So we didn't get to see this one the other day at the Zenvo house. This is the tour version with the 3 electric motors and 1,850 horsepower. It's cool to see them next to each other because they actually have some serious differences. The rear end is entirely different. There's some different aero on the side. As you'll notice, it doesn't have that extra blade right there. And even the front end is slightly different. I think it's awesome that it's not just a wing delete, it's actually got more power and entirely different design. But I think Zenvo did such a phenomenal job with the new Aurora and that quad turbocharged V12. It doesn't get much cooler than that. We got to take a look at this Singer at Goodwood Festival of Speed, but man, does this design language not get old. That is just ridiculous. I can't even imagine what this is like to drive, and look at that engine setup. It even has part of the windows. We are over at the Pagani area now. The Zonda R, which still might be my favorite, if not in my top 3 favorite cars of all time. This one was actually on Top Gear and set the Top Gear test track record. They've actually got a livery on the car itself. Look at that. Nürburgring time of 6:47 and the Top Gear record at 1 minute and 8.5 seconds. And then next to it, the new generation race car, the Huayra R. When we saw this run at Goodwood Festival of Speed, it might have been the loudest car at the entire show. And then we have a Utopia here. That's the newest generation of the Pagani Huayra, basically the replacement to the Huayra. Look at those Aero blade wheels. The looks of it are still growing on me. The interior, though, is absolutely wild. And of course, it is a manual transmission, which is super, super cool. The front end is just, well, it's different. And then we've got the Huayra here and the Zonda. So 3 generations of Pagani all next to each other. I absolutely love the Zonda. This one has HP on the headrest. And look at the rear wings. The rear end of the Huayra R and Zonda R, I love the white exhaust. Just looks so crazy. I believe that's gonna become a trend for sure. Look how open the rear of the car is. You can see all the way into the suspension and a little bit of the engine as well. And then the back of the Zonda R. What do you guys think? I think maybe I like the rear of the Huayra R more, but definitely the front and the side of the Zonda R. So this is something that nobody was expecting, the Mustang GTD, which is essentially a race car for the road, 5.2-liter supercharged V8 making 800 horsepower and has active aerodynamics, wide body, tons of carbon fiber, and a $300,000 price tag. Akrapovic exhaust. First time seeing this in person. It's honestly really, really cool looking. Obviously, $300,000 for a Mustang is a heavy price tag, but it's got the performance to back it up. What do you guys think? it looks pretty savage. And I think it looks significantly different, obviously, than a standard Mustang. So hopefully, well, I'm sure it's already sold out. It'll obviously justify the price. Some pretty cool accessories here. Look at the suspension setup. That is really cool to see. The brakes and that active wing. I'm probably not gonna press these buttons, but look, it's got a max downforce button and a DRS button to show how the wing itself works. Look at this, the newest iteration of the Apollo IE with its naturally aspirated screaming V12 and sequential gearbox. This to this day, I think, was the craziest car I've ever been a passenger in, blasting down the Autobahn in Germany. And this design is even crazier than the one that I rode in. Look at the taillights. Crazy. I mean, it looks like something literally out of Star Wars, for lack of a better term. That triple exhaust right there. The aerodynamic work on this car is truly unlike anything else. And it really looks, I mean, this might be the most extreme looking road car that has ever existed. Those headlights too, with the X shape, is just out of this world. They crushed it with this car, honestly. Look at this, the evolution of the supercar. We've got the Bugatti Veyron that I happily just reviewed. Next to it, the Zonda Revolution that we heard at the Protective Film Solutions meet. My ears are still recovering from this car. A beautiful Morgan. Then the original designed Apollo IE, so you can juxtapose that versus the newer designed one over there. Fully exposed carbon fiber. Now this is something you don't see very often. The 110, a special edition version of the Chiron that had a base MSRP of $9 million. Look at those gold wheels. Some extra bodywork compared to the standard Chiron. I believe Cristiano Ronaldo actually has one of these, which is pretty darn cool. Those taillights are spectacular. Look at the intricate design and that stacked exhaust. And we've got another one of my favorite supercars, the XJR15. These are underappreciated in my opinion. And then look at that, I didn't even notice another 110 in a more subtle livery, I should say, but nothing about the car is subtle. I mean, look at this. That is absolutely insane. And then look at this all silver and black spec. Looks like they left the front lift up on this. Oh my gosh. And then the Ford GT and a slew of Carrera GTs over here in a bunch of different colors. I mean, this is a ridiculous array of cars. Let's go ahead and go down this lineup one thing at a time. We've got the beautiful Porsche 918 Spyder. Next to it, a McLaren SLR Roadster, GT4 RS, 720S, gorgeous Diablo. Look at this. Is it Diablo GTR? I actually don't know exactly which Diablo this is. It looks like a GTR, but different. Look at the, look at the trumpets on the roof. I don't know if those are intakes or horns. Wow. That is crazy. And we've got a gorgeous Murcielago and a Countach. And then this, you don't see very often. What's up, Christine? You don't see Christine's very often, that's for sure. One of a kind. Just like this Gallardo that basically paved the way.
Did you compare me to a car?
I just compared you to a one-off Lamborghini.
Aw,
yeah.
That's actually sweet.
So this actually kind of paved the way for the Monza SP1 and SP2, the Elva, etc. Such a cool design. I first saw this at the Lamborghini factory. I love the fact that it's split into two cabins here and has these basically micro windshields that I'm sure do effectively nothing, but pretty cool to see.
That's what we need
for what? So
just
we could
to be separated.
Beautiful 599, interesting. There's a car under a cover here. A couple of awesome Aston Martins. Look at this, two different 177s. These are absolutely spectacular. All right, well, there aren't two, there's actually 5 177s in different specs. And I believe there's only 77 of them, so that's a pretty good representation of the 177 lineup. We've got the Aston Martin Speedster, another windshieldless car with a V12. This has got to be insane to drive. Thoughts on the Quail so far?
Just can't wait to eat the ice cream.
Full exposed carbon fiber Hispano Suiza with 1,114 horsepower, 0 to 60 in less than 2.6 seconds. We got to see this go up the hill climb at Goodwood as well. That design's wild. Look at this. First time seeing the Aston Martin Velour in person. Absolutely stunning, based on a one-off that they made, now into a production version. And then they've got the DB12 convertible. Going to be driving the DB12 for the first time tomorrow, actually. So very excited to get behind the wheel, and a beautiful DBX as well. Cool showing from McLaren. We've got the 750S in the middle, an old race car, and then right here, the McLaren Solus GT, the orange one we saw at Goodwood. Looks like they took the covers off now on these spectacular Gunther Works convertibles, but there is still one in the middle that has yet to be revealed. So Roof is unveiling a couple cars here at the show. They're doing their press conference right now. Look how cool this is. Windshieldless. Well, actually, it's got two mini windshields.
Here it is, shown for the first time today at the Quail, a motorsports gathering. The 2023 Roof.
Three absolutely insane new cars from Roof. They just unveiled this for the first time ever as a celebration of Porsche. This is so stunning. Three uniquely different, strikingly different cars for different purposes. I was gonna say this has no windshields, but it actually has little mini windshields and a separated cabin. I love the plaid seats, manual transmission. This has got to be absolutely unbelievable. The R Spider. Then we have the CTR3 Evo. That has got to be fun to drive. And the Roof Tribute. Look at this, the guys from Hennessy have come in full force with a whole bunch of F5s and F5 Roadsters. This, I believe, the Revolution, the track-focused version, an F5, look at that, F5 Roadster, every single different spec. Pretty cool to see all of these at the same time. Now we saw this car in Ohio with the Triple F collection. That is pretty awesome. There it is, the new all-electric Lanzador. Here we go. First look at the Lanzador all-electric Lamborghini concept. It's kind of a crossover, a little bit shorter and lower to the ground than the Urus, but still with plenty of ground clearance. Over 1 megawatt of power, which means 1,360 plus horsepower. Look at the design of the wheels. I'm excited to see the future of Lamborghini as it makes some fully electric vehicles. As noted by the ALA symbols on the car, it's going to feature active aerodynamics as well. Kind of similar taillights to the Sion and the Countach. Enormous rear diffuser for an SUV. And look at how wide those tires out are in the bodywork. Well guys, what do you think of the Lanzador, the newest Lamborghini and the 4th model in their lineup? It's time for one of my favorite parts of the Pebble Beach Concours, and that is the concept lawn. We've got some of the latest reveals from all of the manufacturers. The latest reveal from Mercedes, the new GT63. They've made some radical changes with this. Not only does it look incredible, it also has 2 extra seats. It's got the same 4-liter twin turbocharged V8, but it makes 577 horsepower, and now it is all-wheel drive, so it makes the same power as the GTR. Enlarged front grille. Honestly, this looks incredible. This is just the 63, and it already looks like it's a borderline Black Series car. And you can see right here, it's got seats in the back for the first time. Obviously, the AMG GT before it didn't have any rear seats. I love the taillight design. Radically new for Mercedes. They've never done anything like that with the little AMG insignias right there. Massive quad exhaust, flared hips. That is stunning. New interior too, kind of similar to the SL. Look at that crazy screen. What do you guys think of the new AMG GT63? Next, we've got the Ford Mustang GTD, basically a GT3 car for the road, a $300,000 Mustang with a 5.2-liter supercharged V8, making 800 plus horsepower, tons of carbon fiber. The wing has active DRS and can adjust for maximum downforce. What do you guys think of the look? I love these massive flared fenders. The wheel design is pretty incredible as well. But would you pay $300,000 for a Mustang? That is the question. It is a very good looking car though, and I love those flared fenders, especially at the back with this little intake right there. Well, here is something I have never seen before, a Spada with a Lamborghini engine. It's like a rat rod, but modernized of sorts. Look how crazy the interior is with the Italian flag inside, manual transmission, flip-up style ignition like a Lambo, and then look at the rear end. The wheels are completely outside of the body. It's basically an open-wheeled car with a full closed chassis. That is so darn cool. The Espada. Wow. We saw this at the Quail, the Pura Vida concept. Beautiful car by Pininfarina. Large SUV, all electric, with some crazy design language. Let's see if we can take a peek inside of the car. Look at how those doors open. The top canopy there, that is stunning. And then we've got the Bentayga extended wheelbase. I went to the press launch of this car up in Vancouver, but this is the Mulliner edition. Look at the details of this interior, the crystal champagne glasses, those airplane style reclining rear seats, and even the tables. Here's another car I've never heard of, which is basically the theme of the concept lawn, the Rabdon suicide doors. Let's take a peek at the interior. Very, very modern. Yoke style steering wheel with an open top. That is one of the largest displays I have ever seen in a car. Kind of recycled felt style materials, ambient lighting, massive display up here as well. What do you guys think? And then of course the Hennessy Venom F5 Revolution with no top.
So you're getting the body parts.
What a gorgeous spec. Fully exposed carbon fiber as well. Guys, so we're here with Sacrilege Motors.
Hi there, Phil Wagenheim, 964, 1992. We converted it into EV with a Tesla motor. We've got 200 miles of range. We've got 62 kilowatt hours of battery. Batteries front and rear. Bobby Singh over there, he literally created some custom shocks with Penske that allow us to maintain the drivability, the feeling of a proper 911 air-cooled car. You come around a corner and you would not know that this is EV.
That is incredible. And the design language is beautiful. Obviously, it looks very, very similar to a stock one, but you've got updated headlights, it looks, updated front bumper, beautiful wheels as well. And then can we check out the interior?
Would love to. So we did box weave, leather, and suede.
Some nice cool jazz. Yeah, wow. And is this for reverse and drive, basically?
That is Mikasa Ebony. I think we have, how many do we have left that we can actually provide in Mikasa? Very few. Yes, forward is going to be, and reverse, and a neutral.
Gotcha. And then how about the rear? Is this where the battery is, or?
The battery lives in the front and in the back. We've got Penske reservoir shocks that Bobby custom made, 3-way adjustable rears, 2-way adjustable fronts, which allow us to maintain the familiarity of a proper air-cooled 911 drive experience.
The newest all-electric crossover from Lamborghini, the Lanzador. This car is due to drop in 2028. Now, technically, it is a concept car, but it's a design study for the future of Lamborghini as it goes all-electric. And it looks like we're about to see the interior for the first time, which we didn't get to see at Quail. We've got those Sion-style rear taillights, massive rear diffuser, and let's go ahead and see the inside. First time seeing under the hood of the new Lanzador. It's got custom luggage, carbon fiber absolutely everywhere. Of course, it doesn't have the engine as it is all electric. First time seeing the interior of the Lanzador up close. Look how cool that full digital display is with different customizations. Before it was kind of like the SVJ or Countach style. Absolutely gorgeous steering wheel, carbon fiber top and bottom, massive paddles, which is interesting. I wonder if it's gonna have gears in an all electric car. Look at that floating bridge in the center, incredible carbon fiber seats there. The design language, honestly, is amazing. So I hope the concept does end up looking like this when it comes to reality. They even have a carbon fiber surfboard back there and some digital displays. Look at the pedals as well. That is wild. And check this out, the Code 61 bird cage, brand new reveal at the Pebble Beach concept lawn. It's hopping inside the interior. This thing is spectacular. Look at that quilted leather. Let's get a look at the front end. Wow. That is gorgeous. And I love the little miniature windshields. Look how it opens up almost like a fighter jet cockpit right there. This is one of the most beautiful 993 recreations I've ever seen. Wide body, carbon fiber. Look at that ducktail in the back as well. The Tedson Daydream, modernized taillights, revamped rear diffuser, and of course still keeps that manual transmission. I love the slits in the front fenders there. Thank you very much. Take a peek at the interior. Look at that steering wheel and those beautiful woven seats. So you were saying this is the first ever air-cooled hybrid?
That is correct, yes. So initially our product, Daydream, is built on a standard 964 and 993 platform, and usually we use a standard 3.8 liter, 375 horsepower engine. But this is the world's first air-cooled hybrid for serial production, where we marry a 4.0 to 420 horsepower 993 engine with about 200 horsepower electric flywheel and Curse system. So it's like almost like an F1 technology on an air-cooled car, where we take the air-cooled performance to the heights never thought possible.
And it's a manual transmission as well?
It's a manual transmission, but we can also do automatic, and when we do automatic, because Tiptronic on these cars was, you know, quite old,
slower.
We actually offer the PDK system.
Very cool.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant car.
Thank you so much.
Another amazing day during Car Week. Today we are driving the new Aston Martin DB11 and also apparently getting behind the wheel of the DBX 707. It's been so nice having the 600 LT out here. RWB, R34, Countach. Oh wow, look at that. It looks like the entire Rolls-Royce global press fleet is just sitting here in the parking lot. That's wild. Look at that, a new DB12. That is gorgeous. And then look at that, casually a Rimac Nevera just sitting right here. And a Singer. Two Rolls-Royce Spectres sitting next to each other. The new all-electric coupe. Those are pretty. Nice 812 GTS pulling up, cool spec. Spectre rolling out, dead silent. Look how big that is. The taillights are absolutely gorgeous. DB12 rolling through. That is one good looking car. So we've got one sitting right here. Aston Martin says it's 80% new from the DB11. From the front end, you can see you've got a massive front grille, very much enlarged from the DB11. And if you look at them side by side, it is a much prettier car to look at. The side is pretty similar. This vent here has been enlarged a little bit, but the radical difference is the vehicle's interior. Pretty crazy to see all of the different color Rolls-Royces next to each other. We've got the new Ghosts, a Cullinan here, and then the Spectre in a very unique spec. I do really like what they've done with the headlights on the Spectre. Such an imposing looking vehicle. Cullinans everywhere as well. Look at the flake in the paint of this. That is crazy. It's absolutely sparkling in the sun, that yellow pinstripe. So talk about an unbelievable spec. It's Galileo blue over Galileo blue. That absolutely pops. Look at the spec on this Cullinan. I thought it was just white on white, but it's got a peony pink pinstripe, and then look at the peony pink accents in the interior. That actually looks really cool, juxtaposed against the white. Check out the jet black accents in here. Starlight headliner. Under the hood of the DB12 is a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 sourced by AMG, but with bigger turbochargers than before. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Making 671 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. It makes 143 horsepower more than the previous generation V8 DB11, which is pretty impressive in terms of an improvement. I believe a 34% increase in power, and apparently it drives entirely different. Well, this is a really pretty color, but unfortunately they're running 2 hours behind on the event, so we don't have enough time and are gonna have to bail. I am actually pretty bummed. I thought this was a press event with media cars and whatnot. I guess it's a customer drive. And we showed up for a 10:30 time slot and they're running 2 hours behind somehow. So I'm not gonna wait around 2 hours. We're gonna head out and find something else to do. DB12s. If anyone from Aston Martin is watching and controls the press fleet in Southern California, I would like to get my hands on a DB12. Entering Laguna Seca and a gorgeous 959 passing by. Home of the corkscrew. Just parked at Laguna Seca. Got an awesome spot here and look, a fellow 600 LT. Seeing these absolutely everywhere. Huracan Storado parked in the dirt. And look at that, M5 wagon. Here we are, guys. Here's a Ferrari I have never seen before until this year at Monterey Car Week, the 575 GTZ. It's a Zagato bodied car, and they only made 6 of these in the entire world. Look at the rear end. I mean, it almost doesn't look like a Ferrari, but obviously the interior is very 599 and 612 Scaglietti. What do you guys think of the front end of this? How wild is this Lotus single-seater race car? I love the tape over the headlights in the perfect pound sign. Look how small this is. This must be so intense to drive. How cool is the livery on this 935 slant nose? Instead of headlights where they'd normally be, it's a bunch of vent work. That is really cool. And then the headlights are down below. Look at that, to remove those massive center lock wheels. That is gorgeous. How crazy is this? I bet a lot of people didn't know that Porsche and Abarth made a car together. This is the Abarth 356. That is really cool. I am in love with the Carrera RS. Such a pretty car. And then over here, a 300 SL Gullwing and a beautiful GT40. Look at this, is this Horatio's personal car? Beautiful 962. The livery on that, I love that color. And look, they've taken the rear canopy off so we can take a look at that engine. Look at the carbon fiber intakes on either side. Check this out, this is the track-only T50S. It's still got that Cosworth V12 that revs to 12,100 RPM. In fact, they've got the V12 right here, but it's got more horsepower and 900 kilograms of downforce, 754 horsepower, central seating position, but no passenger seats. And this thing, the craziest spec on the entire car is that it weighs just 1,850 pounds. They've opened up half of it here so you can see into the inner workings. That is unbelievable. I mean, that is actually unbelievable. Oh my god. How do you even drive a car that's that loud? Dude. Oh my god. This is almost not believable, but that was only 6,500 RPM that he was revving to. If it went to 12, I think everyone would have just died instantly. Look at the interior of the T50S. I mean, every single thing has a purpose. They haven't glorified it or beautified it in any way. Look at the switch gear right here. There's nothing on the steering wheel to tell you what these individual buttons do. That is wild. Apparently, it has a gearbox based on a MotoGP bike. Now, this is the road-going T50 3.9 liter naturally aspirated V12 that revs to 12,100 RPM. 650 horsepower, central driving position. Look how insane the interior is. That beautiful analog, almost McLaren-esque steering wheel, manual transmission, analog instrument cluster. Those seats are spectacular. And one of the coolest parts, other than, of course, that Cosworth V12, is the fan at the back for additional downforce. And just as a stylistic element, that is crazy. So we're here with Mark from Gordon Murray Automotive, here inside the T50. Can we take a look at the key real quick? Because that is, I've never actually seen the key before. You were saying it's shaped exactly like the pedal box.
Yeah, so it's a replica of the clutch and the brake pedal. So if you look at the machine on the pedal and on the key, very similar.
That is very cool. Now, central driving position. I've driven a McLaren Speedtail, but only briefly. Do you think on this car, because it's a lot smaller, is it pretty easy to get used to? It's kind of second nature?
Because of the height of the car, and you're so far, you've got not glass area.
Yeah.
it gives you a good way to position the car on the road. So when you drive in, you can see the corners of the car. So if the corner in, it's an ideal position to be in. You know, you're not too far back. You can see the corners of the car where the wings go over. It's very straightforward. Yeah.
It's actually unbelievable that you've made a car weigh 2,200 pounds that's road legal.
Yeah.
I mean, how is that possible? Are there certain design philosophies, or, I mean, was the whole point of the car basically to make it as light as possible?
So Gordon's whole philosophy with all of the cars he's done is always lightweight. You know, it's not about, you know, ultimate power. It's about the experience of driving the car and the lightness. So the whole car's been designed around those. Obviously the key and the pedals are titanium pedals and they're machined, so they're not just a flat aluminium titanium section or machined. The top of the car is carbon fibre, all the panel work is carbon fibre. I think it's got a weight of about 150 kilos for the tub and all the panels put together. Everything has been designed around saving weight. You know, if it hasn't got a function on the car, it's generally not on the car. You know, even down to things like the brake calipers, they've been machined so they're lighter than the standard Brembo calipers. Yeah, it's all about lightweight. The windscreen glass is 30% thinner than normal titanium windscreen glass. So it's, again, just to save weight.
Now, as far as the engine is concerned, obviously it's a borderline race car engine. Some of the newest cars, like the Valkyrie and the AMG1, have the most ridiculous required services. Does this have a semi-more traditional service life? Or?
Yeah, so the information from Cosworth is it will be generally be an affordable engine service, and it hasn't got the extremes where some of the Ferrari engines were a stripped, rebuilt.
Yeah.
That isn't the case with the Cosworth engine. You know, it's designed to be a sort of fairly regular maintenance schedule.
So can we check out some of the gauges? Now, is the 240 on the Speedo a reference to the McLaren F1? Or just coincidental?
I think it's coincidental.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I think they've got an aero mode, which is pretty cool. So when the fan's active on the car, it shows the current RPM speed of the fan as well as the rear wing angle.
Wow.
Which will change on the braking and certain settings, you'll get different angles on the fan. Rear wings themselves.
Thank you. So we are inside the driver's seat of the T50S now, and it actually has kind of a similar feel to my McLaren 600 LT in the fact that you are feeling like you're sitting over the front wheels, and the roof line, the hood just slopes immediately downwards. It's almost like being in a go-kart, but with a heck of a lot more power. Obviously this car is way cooler than a 600 LT, but just a little comparison with the seating position there. Now we've got the beautiful transmission exposed here, a whole bunch of different switch gear, the engine start-stop button, flip-up switch there, infotainment controls, the window controls. Actually, you've got a decent amount of space in here. Because your passenger seats are behind you and to the side, it feels very airy in the cabin. I can't imagine what this is like to drive. 13,000 RPMs on the dash. Obviously revs to 12,100. Hopefully at some point I can take one of these out for a review. I love how unique the engine bay is. Look, it opens up almost like the doors on a Valkyrie, but just to expose the engine itself. They're about to start this up and take it for a drive. On the road car, not even the race car. Look at this CLK GTR race car. A bunch of cars out on the track right now, but look, the rear of it is taken off, exposing that massive engine. How cool is that airbox on top? And then look how small the interior is with the single seat. 812 Competizione next to an almost matching spec F12 TDF. That is incredible. Look at that blue interior on a red car. Wild spec. Ferrari 312 race car. Look how low to the ground it is. And that wedge-shaped design with the Nakaducks. That is spectacular. Good morning, guys. It is finally time for the Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance. Ready for Pebble Beach?
Yes.
Apparently it rained last night. Just parked at Pebble Beach. How beautiful is this? This is the super rare 688 High Sport, based on the 675 LT. More power, crazier looks, more downforce. That is so spectacular. One of the OG roof scoops. I've never driven a High Sport, but would absolutely love to. I imagine it's like the 600 LT, but maybe even a bit more raw. Look at that Aston Martin. So one of my favorite parts about Pebble Beach is they have all these satellite areas around the concourse that are free to access. So you don't have to pay for the main event. A bunch of cool carbon fiber modifications from Brabus. This G-Wagon is ridiculous. Just saw the Brabus 4x4 squared that TGE bought recently. Check this out, I've never seen the Brabus Maybach before. Wonder if it's a tuned Maybach, that would be pretty crazy. How insane are these car models? I'm not sure what scale this is, but they're absolutely huge and unbelievably detailed. I bet these cost more than most normal cars. Mercedes always has a crazy display. Looks like a huge focus on Maybach this year. How beautiful is this C111 concept car? That is way too cool. Look at the LEDs in the front grille. And then the interior on this is absolutely ridiculous. Look at the matching bags, those seats. It looks like something that belongs in outer space. I'm imagining that's the point. And then look at that dash. Wow. Here's a collaboration you would never think would happen. Montclair and Mercedes developed this crazy G-Wagon sculpture. Actually so cool to look at. Could you imagine having this in your living room? Look at the size of these wheels. They've got the kind of puffer jacket look like Montclair's vests. I really like this, honestly. Every year Bugatti has a free section as well. So if you come to Pebble Beach next year and don't want to pay for the concourse, you can come to the outskirts of it and experience some of these Bugattis in person. We've got a lineup of the 3 generations of current Bugatti supercars, the EB110 that started it all, and then next to it, the Bugatti Veyron, and then of course the current gen of Bugatti hypercar, the Chiron Sport. And this is a special edition, the Noir Elegance. Look how gorgeous that front grille is. Slightly different design than the standard car, fully exposed carbon fiber. A lot of people don't know, but these are actually BBS FIR wheels. They're just Bugatti branded, full exposed chrome. That is gorgeous. It's one thing to have a Chiron, but to have one with a name attached to it is really, really special. And then we've got the Chiron Pure Sport that an acquaintance of mine just took delivery of. What an amazing spec. And then inside here, the 2 new Golden Era cars. Here we've got the Chiron Golden Era next to the Mistral that we saw at Quail, and behind that, the Bugatti Bolide track focus car we got to see go up the hill at Goodwood. What an epic looking car. Another one of the most amazing free sections of Pebble Beach is the concept lawn. I'm gonna be doing a dedicated video on that. I've already posted it, so make sure to check it out. So this is pretty cool to see all of the Icona series line next to each other. We've got the SP1 with 1 seat, and next to it, the SP2. If you guys haven't seen, recently drove and reviewed the SP1, absolutely insane experience. But then my favorite of the line so far, the SP3. Naturally aspirated V12 making 823 horsepower, and I think personally, might be the best looking modern Ferrari ever made. I love both the modern design elements and some of the retro design elements, kind of like the Testarossa style in the rear here. But basically a naturally aspirated, more hardcore LaFerrari, and I can't imagine how cool this would be to drive. It's funny, you can't actually see much of the engine as it stair steps downwards with those intakes. That is such a cool rear canopy. And look at the vent work right there on the left and right. The Ferrari section out here is crazy. We've got the 16M, the convertible version of the 430 Scuderia. And then look at this, the exact spec of my Speciale Aperta. I wonder if it's possible that this is the same car. No, this has blue carbon fiber, but had the exact same seats, same triple layer yellow, Giallo Triplo Strato. That is gorgeous. Yeah, this is the same exterior color as the one I had.
Oh, I thought you were calling me gorgeous.
I mean, look at it though. And then the beautiful 812 Competizione. And then this is gorgeous, the 599 SA Aperta, which is the convertible version of the 599 GTO. You don't see many of these. This is a super, super special car. And then there is another SA Aperta right here as well. Look at this FXXK Evo, the track-only version of the LaFerrari, next to another one right there. The livery on this is absolutely insane. And then the predecessor, the FXX, based on the Enzo. What would you take, the FXX or the K Evo? I think I'm going with the newer one. This is one of the loudest cars I've ever heard. I saw it at the Ferrari Challenge event at Sonoma Raceway, a 599 XX Evo. incredible naturally aspirated V12. And then next to it, a LaFerrari Aperta, the rarer open top version of the LaFerrari. That's got to be incredible with that V12. I mean, the amount of special Ferraris they have lined up here is truly remarkable. Here we go. We've got the entire lineage of hypercars, basically, the LaFerrari. Then we've got a gorgeous Enzo Ferrari right here. Still something I very much need to review, as with the Ferrari F40. Then we've got an F40 competition race car version of the F40. That is just unbelievable. And then next to it, look at the adjustable wing with all the different degrees, and the F50. I love the rear end of the F50. Well, I love everything about the F50, particularly the Formula One derived V12. What do you think out of all of them?
I like the FXX one.
Yeah, the FXXK, like the first one, or the
track only one. It looks different than the rest.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. And then here we have a whole bunch of Ferrari race cars, the 458 race car, 488 race car of different generations. Look at this. I believe this is a 296 GT3. I've actually never seen that before in person. What's going on? Man, I wish they made the road car look like this. That is insane. So much wider than the standard 296. Massive rear wing. That is unbelievable. 430 challenge car, 360 challenge car. Just Ferraris absolutely everywhere. And now we've got some special old racing Ferraris. This is stunning. I know I've said stunning and amazing and all these adjectives over and over, but it's really hard to not say them because all these cars are just overwhelmingly awesome. Here's an absolutely insane Ferrari, the 412P. We actually saw the 312P at Laguna Seca the other day. 340 America, 250 GT. Look at this, 250 Monza. This is what the SP1 and SP2 were loosely based off of. As you can see with that single hump design there. Look at this 512, how you can see through the grille into the engine and also up underneath the rear bumper. Look at those white exhaust pipes. That is so cool. This is so opened up. That canopy, oh my gosh, they need to bring back that much open air to see the engine in modern cars. 512 BBLM. Ferrari Puro Sangue SUV. Still think this might be the coolest SUV ever made just because it has a V12. Check this out, guys. First time seeing the SF90 XX and the Spider in person. This is the more hardcore track version of the SF90, but it is, of course, still road legal. Twin turbocharged V8 hybrid making 1,016 horsepower, 0 to 60 in just under 2 seconds. An absolutely ridiculous looks. It almost has a combination of McLaren Senna looks and the Ferrari SF90. They've taken a whole bunch of racing heritage from their XX program. Of course, we had the 599 XX, the FXXK Evo, but this is probably the most extreme looking Ferrari ever made. I mean, just look at that front splitter, the crazy hood vents right there, and then look at the livery on this coupe. That is absolutely insane. What do you guys think? Would you rather have the coupe or the Spider? I think for a track-focused road car, it does make more sense to have a coupe for, obviously, it being lighter weight. Let's take a look at the wheels. Very cool, kind of retro style wheels. Taking a look at the interior here, we've got carbon bucket seats with a racing harness. And then let's take a peek into the engine bay. Look how low down that twin turbocharged V8 is in the car itself, and that dual exhaust. Honestly, in pictures, I wasn't sure what to think about these cars, but in person, this is one of the coolest looking Ferraris I have ever seen. We'll be able to take a better look of the interior of the Spider right here because it is open topped. Look at those carbon kind of Assetto Fiorano buckets. Unbelievable. How crazy is this? You can see under the hood of the SF90 XX and see some of the electric components there. Yeah. All right, well, we just got inside the Concours. And look at the crowd. It's just people with the side of cars. As somebody who loves playing golf, Pebble Beach has been a course I have always wanted to play. So having the Concours on the 18th fairway is pretty darn cool. And I mean, you can see why this course is so famous. The 18th fairway is literally along the coast. This event has gotten so popular over the years. There is actually an insane amount of people here. And it's an expensive event to attend too, so man, this is impressive, honestly. Look at that, the Mercedes-Benz 680S. I wonder if this is kind of the original Mercedes S-Class. That is incredible. And here is the 4-seater version, still with 2 doors. Beautiful Pegaso from the Audrain collection. Look how wild the color combination on this is. Look at this Countach police car Monaco Grand Prix vehicle. That is so cool to see. Look how wide this 935 race car is. I love the slant nose design. Bugatti Type 57 Cabriolet. Looking incredible in the sunlight. That red pinstriping. Look how classy that interior is with all the bird's eye maple and wood. American dream cars of the 1950s. Look at this Monterey Roadster. A Macmin Le Mans Coupe with a little model of it inside. All of these are so cool. I love the original designs. Wow, a Debonair convertible. It's almost skin color. That interior though. A Curtis Sorrel from 1953. This is one of the prettiest cars I've ever seen and I've never even heard of it. Look how sleek the design is. I mean, that is absolutely amazing. Wow. This is honestly one of my favorite houses in the entire world with a beautiful view of the ocean. McLaren F1 LM in beautiful McLaren orange. And then they've got their road car, McLaren F1, over there. A whole bunch of McLaren race cars lined up. And then down at the end, the F1 GTR Longtail that we saw casually on the road the other day. Now it's here at Pebble Beach. Well guys, what an absolutely amazing event. It's so busy here, it is hard to film all the cars, and obviously I did miss some, but wanted to give some highlights for you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like always, please browse the channel and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you next video.